twice for a total of 16 hours at $2,000 an hour. Do the math. They want to win this $1 million bonus. Let's go to Speedway Illustrated's Dick Berggren.
Yeah, but to win it, they're going to have to beat Dale Earnhardt Jr. During driver introductions, this audience went absolutely berserk when his name was mentioned. He is the favorite. He has won 3 of the last 4 restrictor plate races. He's smart, he's cool, he's extra good in places like this. To Matt Yoakum.
Dick, the last time Pontiac won a points-paying race at Daytona, Ronald Reagan was running for re-election. Tony Stewart has 2 Budweiser shootout victories, but remember, tonight he's racing with a couple unknowns. He only completed 2 laps back in the Daytona 500 with engine failure. They've gone back to their 500 notes without any final practice session, but they're still unsure how those notes will react tonight because they only had 2 laps back in February. Mike?
Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, is proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at every NASCAR Winston Cup race. Kevin Harvick is a first-time Bud Pole winner, and he joins these other drivers in the Bud Shootout of 2003. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Let's move to our Walmart starting grid. Kevin Harvick, first pole, and Jeffrey Bodine in only his 3rd start of the season, former Daytona 500 winner, on the front row. Jeff Gordon, 2-time winner of this race. Robbie Gordon, no relation, looking for his first restrictor plate triumph. Dale Jarrett has 4 Daytona wins. Johnny Benson, top 10 in February, led a lot of it. Michael Waltrip, 4 top 5s in the last 6 restricted races with his teammate Steve Park and his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr., who we've talked about, right behind, along with the fastest Dodge in the field, young Casey Atwood. Veterans Bobby Hamilton and Ricky Rudd looking for his first Daytona triumph. Mike Wallace with Bill Elliott, a 4-time Daytona winner. Kenny Wallace and Jimmy Johnson, the pole winner, fastest qualifier back in February here. Brett Bodine, 9th last July, and Mark Martin, one of those No Bull Million bonus cars. Ken Schrader has 20 top 10s at Daytona, and Sterling Marlin, the point leader. Bobby Labonte, 5th here last July, and Kyle Petty, fresh off that 3,500-mile charity ride. Mike Skinner won both Daytona poles in '97, and Todd Bodine, who competed last night in the Busch race. Jimmy Spencer, who won this race in '94, leading only the last lap, and Ricky Craven, another No Bull car. Shauna Robinson, the only female in the field, and Kurt Busch, who was 4th in the Daytona 500. Tony Stewart, just 2 laps in February here, but he has 2 top 10s, and Dave Blaney in a Ford. Elliott Sadler, 3rd here last July after starting 38th with John Andretti in a Petty Dodge. Stacy Compton's Pontiac and Hut Strickland's Dodge in row 17. Jeff Burton, the 2000 winner of this race, and Terry Labonte, 2-time series champion. Then the provisional starters. Rusty Wallace has not won Daytona in 38 starts, maybe tonight. And Matt Kenseth, another No Bull car. Ryan Newman in the same car, he raced to 7th here. And Jeff Green. Ward Burton, the Daytona 500 champion, had trouble with the cowl intake in qualifying. He's there with Jeremy Mayfield, a pair of Dodges. And last night's winner, tonight he's last row Joe Nemechek, an unexpected spot, but he anchors the field. 43 cars, 160 laps, 400 miles, 100 miles less than we race in February.
Yeah, the pit window is 50 to 55 laps. You can make this on 2 stops, 160 laps. You want to be full of fuel. You don't want to be out there and have to pit on the green by staying out and not pitting. Tires are not that critical, but they can definitely make you handle better.
Oh, yeah. If I get an opportunity, I'm going to come and get me 4 tires almost every time.
There's our weather. A lot of rain here yesterday, and that was what ruined any chance of final practice for these cars. When they practice before qualifying, they do it 1 car at a time so that their runs are not wind-aided by the draft of another car. So they have not been out there in anger amongst groups of cars in practice. In fact, not since they were here in February for the Daytona 500. Lights out atop the pace car as we get set to go racing. For those of you just joining us from baseball on Fox, welcome to Daytona International Speedway, where the Pepsi 400 is about to go green.
Oh, yeah, and this is the tense time It's when the crew chief is talking to the driver and he's telling him, now be patient here. And the driver's sitting in there all fired up and got fire coming out of his eyes. And he can't even hear what the crew chief's saying about being patient.
I'm not going to talk to you after we take the green flag. Very little. I'm going to leave it up to that spotter because I know you're going to be out there in packs of 20 cars running 3 wide. Pull your seatbelts tight one more time because we're going for a ride for 400 miles.
That's right. Besides that, I don't have time to talk to you.
Can Jeff Gordon get his first win of the year? Can Johnny Benson get his first win ever? Can Jeffrey Bodine from the outset pull off an upset? We're ready. You're ready.
And here they come. And we're coming down here, folks. Got them tight. Got them belts tight. Flagman's got that green flag in his hands. Here we go, folks. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Boys, take her down in the first turn.
Jeff Gordon on the start of the race in the 24 car, he looked like he almost got knocked below that yellow line. You heard Jeff Hammond in the pre-race talk about the out of bounds. You can't be below that yellow line anywhere around this racetrack.
And the thing about it is you can't be patient if you're middle of the pack back. You've got to get up in there and get after them because you want to get with some cars that are fast.
2 wide, middle of the pack, 3 abreast in the back of the pack.
This is the eye of the storm. That's what you got to watch for right there. That's where the action is.
And this racetrack is wide enough to run 3 wide. It's wide enough to almost run 4 wide on the backstretch. The problem is on the exit of the corners, it's like running into a funnel. The racetrack narrows up.
Here they come as they exit off the corner. And what happens is the cars move around. When there's this many cars around each other, the wind is buffing the car around. You're 3 wide. The wind catches the front of your car, lifts it up, and into the car outside of you go.
And the longer we go on the run, everybody's on fresh tires right now, full of fuel. The longer we go into a run, the front end will want to turn less and less on the exit of the corner. That's when you get in trouble.
And what you'll find right now is all these drivers will work with each other right now. They'll squeeze up and let you in because they're all packed up there together. But as they start to spread out a little bit, you can't do that.
Tony Stewart, who completed only a couple of laps in February due to a blown engine, spins to the infield in the back straightaway.
Caution is on the speedway.
Now, gentlemen's agreement, we do not race back. There's no rule that says you can't race back, but you can hack a bunch of guys off if you try to pass.
Didn't tell this pack.
And here they come racing down there like the green flag's still out.
Kevin Harvick leads the 2nd lap and passes under the yellow flag, and the field will slow from 180 down to 70 miles an hour.
Now, February, Tony Stewart only ran 2 laps because of losing an engine. Here he's wrecked before they even get to lap 2.
Now, what happens here is because some cars did pass with that yellow flag out, you'll be driving up beside a guy and shaking your fist at him, pointing your finger at him. Let's see what happened here.
Wow, he just turned right.
Looks like the car got down on the apron there just a little bit, and the back end came around.
Perhaps repairable damage, perhaps not.
Oh, he got hit. Yeah, there you go.
Was that Jeff Burton behind him?
And that's Matt Kenseth in the 17 car that they got together as well.
I was starting to say that he almost had to get hit from what we saw initially. Trouble, that's what happens when you have to start near the back of the field.
Let's ride with Tony Stewart just in front.
He never knew. He didn't know what happened. Never lifted out of the throttle. He was minding his own business. Got run over from the back.
Now, Larry, the damage looks repairable, but these cars are massaged so much in the wind tunnel. Don't know if they'll be competitive. Now, there's Stewart to the left as you ride with Sadler.
Yeah, Sadler was trying to squeeze in there. He got into the 17, bounced off him over into the 20.
Damage on Sadler's car as well.
And this is a car that finished 2nd in the Daytona 500 in February and 3rd a year ago. But yeah, aero is so important here. You want to keep that front end. It has to stay just as clean as possible. We have some of the guys at the back of the pack taking advantage coming to pit road. Ricky Craven comes in, Kyle Petty, Elliott Sadler, of course, with damage, Jeff Burton in the 99, and Matt Kenseth in the 17 as well that we saw was involved in that with Tony Stewart.
And I don't care how minor it looks, Mike, when these cars crash at 190 miles an hour, it's a lot worse than it looks. Now, some of it's cosmetic, like this, but you do chassis damage as well, particularly if you get into the fence.
An airliner takes off at, what, 160 miles an hour? Would you want to take off when one that had damage looking like that? No thanks.
Here you see they're going to take Tony Stewart, the 20 car, behind the wall, but you better believe these guys will go to work on this car. He comes in here 5th in points, and in the last 6 races, he scored more points than anybody on the circuit.
Speedway, this is MRN Radio.
Yeah, he had to be considered a pre-race favorite, but Daytona has not been kind to him this year. Out early in the 500, and now here he is out already in this race.
Stewart left Daytona in February, 43rd in the point standings. And he has climbed to 5th.
They were trying to push the car, and it just was so much damage you couldn't push it.
So caution out at lap 2. I want to welcome those of you joining from the Dodgers-Cardinals game. We're at Daytona International Speedway for the Pepsi 400, and we're under caution at lap 2. Elliott Sadler and Tony Stewart, last year's runner-up for the Winston Cup Championship, colliding on the backstretch. Both drivers okay. Damage to both cars. Stewart behind the wall. Sadler stays in the race.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is brought to you by the joy of Pepsi, the choice of Victory Lane. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Walmart, always low prices, always. And by Singular Wireless, never pay long distance or roaming again. It's a singular nation.
Welcome back to Daytona. Hallowed ground, Victory Lane. That's where Tony Stewart wants to be. This is not the way he wants to get there. He's behind the wall after being involved in a crash with Matt Kenseth and Elliott Sadler.
Here's what happens, Mike. Here's the 45 car up here. He gets up high, he gets shoved up out of the groove. Here comes the 17 back here. He runs up on the back of the 45. He's got to get out from behind him. He starts down. The 21's there. They get together. Into the 20 goes. The 21 car, he bounces off the side of the 17 car. There's your wreck.
Steve Burns.
Well, Mike, they're pretty confident they can get this Pontiac back in the race. Crew Chief Greg Zipadelli saying they're going to try to replace the nose, a partial nose, the right front of that Pontiac, and get Stewart back in the race.
5th in the points coming into this race. A great comeback after running only a couple of laps in the season opening Daytona 500.
But Mike, that's what happens here. Usually thing is because somebody has to get out of the throttle and the other guy doesn't or can't in time to keep from running in the back of him, takes an evasive move, usually causes a wreck.
You saw the damage to Matt Kenseth's car. He's sporting a new paint job. A lot of commemorative paint jobs here tonight, as Kevin Harvick has led all of the 5 laps so far.
Green flag, green flag.
See the Fox tracks there. Kevin Harvick bringing them slow to the restart. Started off about 55 miles.
Oh, yeah, there's cars running all over each other back in the pack here because of that terrible restart.
Kurt Busch locked up the brakes. That was the smoke you saw.
I think some cars got some front end damage. I think I saw a couple of guys bounce off each other.
There you see it's going to be about 145 miles an hour entering turn 1. Now you will not reach potential speed with the restrictor plate until you almost run a full lap, lap and a half. Remember, they're wide open all the way around this racetrack.
Harvick brought him down so slow here to take the green that it bottlenecked everything up, backed everything up. A bunch of cars were running all over each other.
He should be about 70 miles an hour. That's just what the pace car speed is. So he was about 15, 20 miles an hour slower than the pace car speed.
Back when A.J. Foyt was racing, they called that a Texas restart.
There's a lot of names for it at the short tracks around the country, Darrell, as you well know. Dick Berggren on Elliott Sadler, who was involved in that crash.
Well, Sadler finished second in the Daytona 500. His crew chief is Pat Tryson. How badly wounded is the car in tonight's race?
It's not real bad, but it's, you know, for Daytona, it's bad. It's some motorcraft quality parts. Got a little fender bender there on both sides, so we had to work on both fenders. Got them